Okay, so you've just presented on an update on climate change. In a nutshell, how are things?
Well, what we're seeing is a lot of dramatic changes in climate, particularly in the Arctic region, which is where I look. Things are moving very quickly. We're losing sea ice, which is the world's frozen oceans, quite quickly. We had a record year last year in terms of the lowest amount of sea ice left at the end of the summertime, and this year was almost as low despite cooler conditions, and the ice is getting much thinner. And so we're having much less total volume of ice, and we're heading towards a point in the not too distant future, probably within a generation, of having no sea ice during the summer. And that's a dramatic change in the climate. We're also seeing a lot of melt in Greenland. We've had record or near record melt years in Greenland for the last several years. We're seeing evidence of permafrost, the frozen ground, starting to thaw. We're seeing glaciers that are retreating quite dramatically around the world. So we're seeing some big changes in the snow and ice covered regions of the world particularly, and these are going to have pretty big impacts, not just in these regions, not just in the polar regions, but around the globe, because the changes in the Arctic are going to affect circulation patterns for the atmosphere and the ocean, winds and currents, and that's going to affect weather patterns, which will affect precipitation and things like that around the globe, including the United States. And so we're seeing some big changes and some big impacts already, and we're going to see even bigger and more widespread impacts in the future.
What advice would you give to someone who's looking at retirement property in southern Florida?
As far as retirement property in southern Florida, you may be okay for a few years. If you're looking for anything more than 10, 20 years down the road, though, you might want to think about something in a little bit higher elevation, a little bit inland and farther north in Florida. Certainly we're going to have some sea level rise in the next century that could impact the near coastal regions of Florida, and that's going to happen over the next century or so. And even before then, in terms of hurricanes and so forth, even with a small sea level rise, hurricanes could have a much bigger impact. We're one to hit in a given region in terms of storm surge and local rise and local flooding from strong storms like hurricanes. So it's definitely going to be getting more risky to be living near the coastline in certain regions.